In person, I would say take a walk, do yoga, shake your body, do something related to movement.
There's a really good book called The Gap and the Gain. And the book talks about when you're in your gap, you're like so focused on what you don't have, what you didn't accomplish. You're so focused on all these things. Marian, how you doing over there? All right. Lisa from Ohio. Evan says, let's go, Marian Menelina.
Babe, learn how to do my last name. Don't do this in public.
That's how he said it. That's how I wrote it. Evan.
Oh,
that's how he wrote it.
Okay.
That's how he wrote it.
Okay, you're good.
All right. We got Leslie on here. We got Lehigh, Bishop from Lehigh, Southern California, Evan in the Poconos. We got a bunch of people jumping on here. So we're going to go over some really cool stuff today. Look, we got the new blue TPG shirts in. That's it. If you guys are interested in the blue.
Should we show the back? We should show the back.
That's it, guys. You don't have to be part of TPG. You can still get the shirt. Reach out to me. Look at it. Be humble.
Cool.
Savage. Sell insurance. Awesome. Loving the shirt. So if you want a shirt, guys, shirts for anyone, man. Built by battles. So awesome. I like how David said that. See, Evan liked the way I said it. He thinks I said it the way I should be saying it. So thank you, Evan.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Evan. Always having my back, Evan. Leslie says, "Go, Marian! Way to go, Marian! You are amazing." From Michelle. So, guys, if you are an entrepreneur, right? This is for anyone an entrepreneur. I'm guessing you guys are mostly insurance agents or on your way to be insurance agents or thinking about being insurance agents. But at the end of the day, we're all entrepreneurs, and I believe they all go through this one thing, and it's a four-letter word. It's a four-letter word, right? Anyone know any four-letter words? If you know a four-letter word, say yes, me, four-letter word. That's it. Do you know any four-letter words? So it's a four-letter word every entrepreneur goes through. Anyone know what it is? Guess what this word is. Guess what it is. Throw it in the chat if you think you know what this four-letter word is.
I learned the word today, but I knew what it was.
Yes, Evan, it's a four-letter word that starts with an F. That's true. What four-letter word is it? Fear. Amber Edmond says fear. Michelle says fear. Leslie says fear. Michelle says fear. What's a four-letter word that happens that a place you get stuck if you are an entrepreneur? What's a four-letter word? Oh, Evan, I'm guessing it's funk. Evan's on top of it, man. Evan is like
Evan is fire.
Evan's from the future. I really think Evan's from the future. He's from the future.
I don't even know what's going on with Evan.
He's from the future, dude. He's on
Well,
it.
I love when you say Evan you're a unicorn. That's like the most descriptive version that we can see.
Absolutely. All right. So if you're an entrepreneur, insurance agent, human being, right? I guess it's a human thing. I don't think you have to be in business. And you've ever been stuck in a funk, put funk right there in the chat. If you ever been stuck in a funk, put it in there in the chat. In the chat, if you ever been stuck in a funk. Let's see. Anyone ever been stuck in a funk? Let's look at the chat here. And this chat's not even working well. Let me just look again on my phone here. If you ever been stuck in a funk, put funk in the chat. All right. So Liz says funk. Oh, Liz knew, said he copied me. Sorry, I was behind. Michelle's been in a funk. John's been in a funk, right? That's it. If you got the funk Teflon, let us know. I'm never in the funk. I got funk Teflon. Christina's been in a funk. Carla's been in a funk. Michelle's been in a funk. Matthew's been in a funk. All right. We got a bunch of people been in a funk for sure. All right, guys. So Marian has also been in a funk. I've also been in a
I
funk.
was in the funk today.
You were in the funk today. Oh, you're gonna get real with them. I didn't want to. I don't want to tell him. Marion was in a funk today. She was in a funk today. You know what? I'm going to tell you what the topic is, and I'm going to let her take over, and she's going to talk about it. But the topic is three things. It's funny because it's actually the subject of the live. Marion is going to go over three things to get you out of your funk. I think maybe some people are just better readers than others. I think that we thought Evan was from the future. He just knows how to read. So
Oh, okay. Okay. He's
yeah,
ahead of us. He's
Glenn
a
says more
scout.
times than I can count. So Marion, tell him about your funk. Tell him about your funk.
Okay. I'm not gonna get that real. I'm not gonna tell them all about my funk, but I'm gonna say how we got out of the funk. Because everybody gets on the funk. They know what it feels like. They know all about it, all about the funk. So let's talk about the solution of how to get out of this funk. And we came with that the first thing to get out of the funk that works for me especially, and I think it will work for most people, even if you're not like a gym person, is movement. You know, maybe a walk. For me, it's the gym. Go heavy on the gym and forget about everything. Put some music and that's it.
Hold on, I think you might have to
Um,
speak up. Are you guys having problems here, Marion? Say louder if you want her to scream louder. Put
okay,
louder in the chat if you need to be louder. Let's see. It might just be me. I got a problem with my ears. You know that. No, no one's saying anything, so I guess I can
We're
hear you
getting
fine.
real with the people here. We're like
That's it. All right. I guess everyone can hear you fine.
louder.
Everyone can hear you fine. Louder. They said
No,
louder.
they
Yep, they
say
want you louder. Here they come. They want you louder. All right. We have to
okay.
get you to speak up like you got a
I'll
pair. That's what you used to tell me in the
I'll
army.
speak up. Okay, but I'll come closer because I feel like it's my computer too. To get out of the funk, first thing, you hear me? Okay. First thing is movement. First thing is to like, for me, it's gym. Gym is movement. But if you're not a gym person, I would say take a walk, do yoga, shake your body, do something related to movement. You need to shake that off, shake that funk off. And do you want to talk about all my points? What or just say all my
Well,
points?
let's talk about the first one a little bit, right? So she says that the first way to get yourself out of the funk. Evan, by the way, Evan said nice coffee mug because Evan was there when we purchased that mug.
He said
Evan,
that to me before. He knows the story.
on top of it, that's it.
It's
Evan's got
very
eyes
nice. I love
Evan's the
it. I'm
man,
so
dude. Evan's the man. So the first thing is movement, right? So she said, if you if you're a gym person, go to the gym. But not everyone here is a gym person. If you're a gym person, put gym in the chat. And if you're not, no big deal. So if you're in a bad place mentally, you're going through it, you're not happy, right? You're probably in like this sitting like state, like you're just hunched over. Maybe you're laying in bed. Maybe you're curled up in a ball in the corner. Whatever it is, like you're not in this like state of movement, right? So my thing is the first time you recognize, like, man, I'm in my head. I'm not happy. I'm in my funk. That's when you want to stand up and you want to open up. You want to get wide. You want to stand up, put your shoulders back, stand tall, and get moving, right? So sometimes something as simple as taking a 45-minute walk will completely change everything, right? And it's so simple. So I used to do that sometimes, right? You walk right out your front door, you look at your watch, you walk 30 minutes, turn around and walk 30 minutes back, right? And something like that will completely change your state of being. If you're in the house in your apartment or whatever it is, and then you just like you're outside, like you're changing your environment, you're changing things. So something just a walk can do it. If you like yoga, stretching, stuff like that can do it. But I definitely think just the state of like getting out of your home or out of your office can definitely help change your state, right, and help you get out of your funk. So for me, if you're telling me, you're in a funk, I'm gonna tell you get some movement, man. Go take a walk. Go take a walk. Go take a walk for 45 minutes. Go take a walk for an hour, and then come back and let me know how you feel. And I know for me, like I used to, I had a point where I was walking at least once a day, and I was walking about a couple miles a day, like out a mile, back a mile, and it was like so good for my well being. Definitely awesome. We do a 45-minute walk as a family, literally every day, rain, shine, or snow, non-negotiable. That was Evan again. Take the dogs for
That
a
is
walk always helps me.
that is good.
Evan says not gym, but outdoors, hike, walk. Right? Paul
Yeah,
says
we know
yes.
that too.
Hiking's huge, right? Hiking is definitely another big one. I forget how much I like hiking until I get forced to go on a hike, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I like hiking. So first thing to do to get yourself out of the funk is movement. And again, doesn't have to be like a hardcore gym. You got to go get a gym membership. You don't have to go jump in the car and drive across town and get in a gym. Just something as simple as a nice stretch, a walk, not sitting in a corner, not balled up in bed, crying, right? Getting up and walking. Floor's back yours there.
1000%. Okay. Second one, because I don't have anything to add to that. I agree to everything. So, second one is a gratitude list, which you put me on that homework like a few times already through our lives together. And I feel like you've done that for many people, but it really works. Like, when you're like on that darkness, that cloud, you cannot even see the goodness of your life or how you got here or everything you have accomplished. Just do a gratitude list. Usually you say five, but I usually, when I start, it's more than five, so I just keep going. But the gratitude list is tough. It's life changing. When you feel dark, just go and write down everything you're grateful for that day or that week or your life in general. But that will change your mindset pretty quick.
Right? So number two, gratitude list. So if you ever done a gratitude list, put a gratitude list in the chat, and we're going to talk about that for a second. So uh, for myself personally, and I'm sure a lot of people go through this, right? Sometimes I'm impatient. Sometimes I want to be further down the road. Sometimes I want to have some successes that I haven't earned yet. That's what it comes down to, right? I feel like a lot of times people they get upset, they're not happy, they're in their funk. It's because they're watching people on social media, they're comparing themselves to other people, and really they're unhappy that they're not having the successes that they didn't work for yet, right? Because remember, if you're not having the success, you just haven't worked for it yet. So you got to work for that. And I go through that all the time. I go on a daily basis, probably, wishing that wishing we were doing 2 million a week, right? I'm upset in my funk sometimes because they're not doing 2 million a week already, but I didn't put the work in to make that happen yet. So there's a really good book called the Gap and the Gain, something along those lines, right? And the book talks about when you're in your gap, you're like so focused on what you don't have, what you didn't accomplish. You're so focused on all these things, and like, dude, you could have $1 billion in your bank account, and if you're in the gap, like you're miserable. You're 100% miserable, right? Now, when you're in the gain, you're focusing on the things you gained, right? So think about um, when you make a gratitude list, you're sitting there looking at all these things because a lot of times we're sitting there, we're like so upset with our life or we're upset where we're at or whatever it is that's putting us in our funk. But like realistically, 2 years ago, we were fighting to get in the position we are now. Like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
we would have traded anything to be in the position we're now. Maybe a year ago, you might have been working on your insurance license and like wishing you already had it, and now you got the insurance license, right? I stay in bed and sleep for 2 to 3 days straight and eat chocolate. I needed this live. Leslie, that's from Leslie. Leslie, you better call me up and we better talk about some grateful
Yeah.
gratitude things next time you decide to go
Yeah.
hibernate for 3 days and eat a bunch of
Next
chocolate.
time she
So
disappear on us, we like
now
Maya
we know where she's
Radical.
at. Now we're gonna go chase her down. So now we know where she's at. California, we're coming. So
Yeah,
I need this because I can't get out of my own head, right? Michelle's getting in her own head. Guys, it's so easy to get in your head.
totally.
And I feel like it's like social media. I'll start looking on Instagram. I'm like, what the heck? Why is this kid like 4 years old and making $1 billion selling YouTube automation? How the heck did that happen? Maybe I should have sold YouTube automation. We start
I think
focusing on
it
what we
might
don't have,
be.
judging these
I
things.
think it
What's
might
that?
be social media, but also like talking about myself today. That when we were talking, it's like too many things get overwhelming and hard to deal with in a way. So like you just like you know get lost for a second.
Yeah, we're so focused on too many different things. We're so focused on a lot of times when I'm trying to force it, right? There's another really good book called Power versus Force, and it talks about like when you're forcing things, like you're not in your flow state, so you're in like this state of like uncomfortableness,
Yeah.
which is not the greatest place to be. Let's see. Let's look here. I'm just checking the chat. Take the dogs for a walk. All right. Need this because I'm in my head. Stay in bed. Gratitude list. John does a Peloton for 30 minutes. Florida's getting to 90 degrees. All right. So number two, right? Gratitude list. So guys, let's do a little exercise here. Put three things you're grateful for in the chat, right? That's how I used to start a lot of conversations. People would call me with some complaints. They're upset. They're crying. All these things were going on. I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on. Before we finish this conversation, I need three things you're grateful for. And then like, right? And Mary's
Yeah.
laughing. She remembers those days.
Yeah. 100%.
That's it, right? So it's a way to change things real, real fast. Um, so put in the chat, put three things you're grateful for. Let's make sure everyone leaves here with in a positive state. Uh, Jen just jumped on. What's up, Jen? Also,
What
everyone's
up,
busy.
Jen?
What up, Jen? All right, guys. So three things you're grateful for. Gratitude list every morning and night. Liz is doing that. That's why Liz is a superstar. All right, cool. So, all right. So number one is movement. Number two is gratitude list. Here we go. We got some Leslie's grateful for God, family, and the oh no, hold on, she moved. God, family, being able to work for myself. Michelle's God, family, and the price group. Look at the price group's not even in here. We got to get the price group in here. Jen's gonna rewatch. Thanks, Jen. Jen said, "Yo." What else we got here?
Oh,
Having my mom in USA, two boys in health, my wife, child, the price group, stable internet. Thank you, Evan. I know I had a feeling us both doing a live with this internet probably wasn't the best idea, but hey, man, we're gonna make it happen. So funny. I was making fun of our internet, honey. Um, so
I don't get sarcasm
sarcastic.
sometimes.
Yeah, he's like being super sarcastic. Yeah, I love Evan. All right, so number three, what do you
Well,
think the third thing is? Put it in the chat. What it would be the third thing that will help you get out of your funk? Really, a must do. Actually, if you're in a funk, what do you think's a must do? This is going to be the third thing. Throw it in the chat. The must do. The must do. Third, put it in the chat. Let's see if anyone can figure this one out. The must do.
Da-da-da-da.
The must do. So, Mary, tell more about your day today. Why we see if we get someone to guess this.
I did go to the gym. Um, I did the third one first, which we're not gonna say yet. And I did the gratitude list. I came out with more than five. I would say like maybe like nine, 8 things. So yeah.
Jen says get leads, activity, God gym mentorship. Michelle says Jesus family, TPG. Look, everyone's grateful for TPG, man. TPG loves you
Wait,
guys.
let's just say that the cleaning lady prayed with me. That also helped.
The cleaning lady played with you today. All right, good.
Yeah. That was really good.
So if you're in a funk, call your cleaning lady, have her come clean your home, and then pray with you.
Or call Jen the Prince Child.
Liz says self care, healthy habits, definitely. All right, no one's guessing. The third thing, super important, probably the most important thing, probably not the third thing you should do, probably the first thing you should do. You guys ready?
Yeah.
You ready? Drum roll. Do, 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 do. Ask for help.
It
Ask.
was for me to say it. It's my point.
Oh, this is your
I,
live. I'm gonna shut up. Let's
yeah,
rewind. Do, 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 do. All right. What's the third one?
ask for
Don't worry.
help.
Our internet broke up anyway. No one heard it.
Ask for help. It's very important. That's what I said before, really quick. That was the first point. That was the first thing I did. Like I obviously went to you and asked, as a mentor and my man, and we talk a lot, and yeah, that helped.
That's it. Asking for help, man. So many times agents will be having a hard time. They're not happy. Things are going on. They're in a funk, and they won't say anything. And like days and weeks and months will pass, and they'll just kind of quit. They won't
They just have
use. Yeah, they just disappear. They start a hot dog stand or something like that. I don't know what happens to them, but they just disappear and they're gone. Instead of like saying, "Hey, just had a really bad day today," or "Things aren't working like I expected," or "I don't know what's going on," or "I'm not having success. Like, what am I doing wrong?" Instead, they're just disappearing. Instead of asking for help, finding someone that's successful. Just totally asking for help and trying to get the help.
why
I called
why do
Bianca
you
or one
think
of my
people
girls. It's like, what's that?
why do you think people struggle with asking for help? Do you think it's like ego?
I don't know. I used to get a lot of people would say to me like, I would hire them and they would say, "Listen, Dave, don't worry, I'll barely bother you." And I think maybe sometimes they think they're bothering people because I would get that all the time. I'm like, no, like your job actually is to bother me. When I used to really mentor a lot of sales professionals versus the agency owners, I would get that all the time. Like they don't want to bother me. I'm like, dude, that's my job. Like honestly, I think you should call me every single day. Like every single day we should talk. But a lot of times they don't do that, and I notice when they don't do that, then they end up in their head. They're by themselves. So yeah, but it's probably the ego, right? The ego thinking that you know better, like the ego thinking I don't need to reach out to anyone because I already know what to do, or I know better, or I got this, and because the ego will stop you from being coachable. Jesse says high quality information. Jen says she's embarrassed. Michelle said don't want to show weakness. Jen says it bothers me when they don't bother me. Let's see what else we got here.
Maybe she's not embarrassed. She was saying, people
Oh, she's saying people
embarrassment.
are embarrassed. That's very possible.
Yeah.
Evan self motivation says self motivation. Jen calls Bianca one of my girls. Let's see. Yeah. So that's some of the things that we have is definitely ask for help. So I know for me, I have no shame. I ask for people for help all the time when I don't know something. I'm always asking for help, trying to be vulnerable, right? You got to be vulnerable because if you're not vulnerable, no one knows that you even need the help. Unfortunately, most people don't read minds, and it makes things a lot harder when we don't communicate. Because I think communication is super important, right? Definitely taking the time, communicating people, let them know how you feel, what's going on, and then also being that person that like asks for the advice and then actually acts on it. Right, that's another thing. I think sometimes, a lot of times, people don't want to say anything because they're like, "Well, last time I said something, they said I should do this, and I didn't really do that, so I should just like not say anything." So sometimes people have to be real with themselves as well. Michelle says don't want to show weakness, you know but like I said, I ask for help. I'm not worried about it. I ask for help all the time. So, Marion, how'd everything go? It bothers me when they don't bother me. So Jen said it twice. Wait, no way, don't read my mind, David. I'm shocked. Jen thinks I read her mind. That's funny. Go in a breakout room with my cis wife, pray, vent, play some loud music. Music's a big one. Music is a big one. A lot of
Music
times,
is a big one. You
yeah.
actually say, "Oh, I know what's wrong here. We don't have music." That was the first thing.
That's the first thing. When she came to me with in her funk, I was like, "Oh, there's no music playing. That's the problem." So awesome, awesome. Who's got some questions on this? Let's see here. Questions. Let's see. Any questions? Anyone needs help getting out of funk? Let's see. I think.
I think also people don't think that uh, when someone is at a higher level, they didn't go through it or they don't go through it anymore, and everybody
That's a
goes
big one.
through it.
That's a big one. Yep. They think when they're they're at this level that um that people aren't like someone's immune to being in a funk or having a bad day or being stressed out. I know some people close to me that are going through a ton of stuff, and you can't even tell. You don't even know they're going through it, but like maybe they don't communicate it or maybe they're able to hold it, but it doesn't mean they don't understand and can relate with you when you have an issue for sure.
Yeah.
Ugh. Past my bedtime. Marion says correct. Wait, no, wait. No, don't read mine. So awesome, guys. Will, Marion, you got anything else to leave with the group before we move on with the day? This is great because sometimes it's hard to get motivated. Yes, Michelle, sometimes it is hard to get motivated, and when I do feel like I lose motivation, right? What I typically do is I stop for a second and I was like, all right, cool. And I look at the tasks that I want to get done. And then I'm like, all right, let me just get started on this next task. Like, that's it. Like, I don't need motivation. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. I actually need to clear my inbox. All right, actually, cool. I need to make this call. And I just, whatever that next action is, I just take that next action. And that's it. So it's like you don't need motivation to take the next action. You just have to stop for a second, evaluate what that next action is going to be, and then take it. And then usually at that point, then things start happening, and all of a sudden you're back in your rhythm, right? Because I feel like when people are in their funk, it's when they're not moving, right? Because if you're on the phone talking to clients all day long, if you're on the phone talking to recruits all day long, you're not in a funk, right? The funk is when you're not moving. That's typically what it is, right? So that's. Can we do a review, Marianne? What are the things? Exercise, gratitude, and what else? Can we do a review? Yeah, Marianne, what were
Ask
you
for
grateful for?
the points, exercise, movement. Second one is gratitude list, and third, ask for help.
The third one is ask for help. Let someone know if you're in a funk. Let someone know you're in a funk. Let someone know close to you you're in a funk. Um, and make sure too when you let the person make sure it's somebody that like you're letting someone know up, right? Don't go find someone else in a funk too because then you're just two people in a funk, right? So find somebody,
Yeah.
you know like always talk up. Find someone that's having more success than you in whatever that is, and let them know what's going on because two people talking in a funk doesn't typically help.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. We got Jen. She's watching from Louisiana. All right. Awesome, guys. Marion, anything else you want to leave everyone?
I'm good. I gave them all.
You gave it all. She gave it all. Guys, she gave it all. Add it to the gratitude list. Awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry if the internet was a little bit shaky today. I promise I have the fastest internet I could possibly have in this building. East Coast, also
They don't
from
believe
contract manager to a new agency and going from door to knocking phone shells. I definitely be reaching out for some help. All right, Lisa, let's talk real soon. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. Hope everyone has a great day and great rest of the week. Thank you.